Alright, I'm Nick. Welcome to the Infinite Brick Wall Builder quick tutorial jobby. I'm just going to run through what everything does as succinctly as possible and hope that it clears anything up, any issues you might have had with it before. We shall explain everything here. So first off, when you download the file, you'll be presented with this when you open the master file, and if you head over to viewport render, you can see I've just knocked up a quick wall there. Yeah, and so we'll just start at the top here. In fact, no, let's first start by showing you how to set up the plane. That would probably be wise. So I'm going to press X and delete that. Now, so you've got a Shift A mesh plane, then rotate it on the X axis by 90. So I just pressed RX 90. There she blows. Yeah, and then tab into edit mode and just subdivide it, I suppose, 4 times. Yeah, that'll do it. So subdivide it 4 times, add a subdivision surface. And the reason we've subdivided 4 times already, because if we just add a subdivision surface to a plane without any subdivisions, it just effectively becomes a circle. So, and then depending on your system, this one, in the viewport, I can probably get away with 5, maybe I might 4. But we'll see when we put the material on. So click on the material tab, and I've got 2 for some reason. Just put the master on, head over to viewport render, and she's back. And weirdly, oh no, it's because it's the other material. No, yours won't look like that. Yours will look like that. Excuse me. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, I can, well, it depends how close you are to the wall. If I was this close to the wall, I would likely bump that up to viewport 5, maybe even 6. But as you can see, the more subdivisions you're adding, the slower the updates in the viewport are, and more memory it's going to require to render it, and time. So yeah, I would, yeah, 6 seems to do it. That's about as much detail as I think I would need. But if you're this far away, and this is where it is in your scene, you can likely get away with 4 or 3. But I'm going to stick with 4 because the updates are quite quick. Okay, so that's how you set it up. Also, you want to select all of your faces. It doesn't matter, faces, edges, whatever. Press U and then cube projection. That's also very important, because this is all based on cube projection. That's how it works best. And if you wanted to round this wall off, because you've got a corner, if it's a still image, you're only ever going to see 2 sides of the wall. If it's an animation, then you're going to need to do all of it, I suppose. But this way I'll do it. So I've just selected all those edges, heading into head mode. Head mode? Who calls it head mode? I've never called it head mode. Top view. E, and then I'm going to extrude it on the Y so that we get that. And then what's important is that I add similar subdivisions. So I'm pressing Control R and just rolling my mouse wheel to get that side as much. And then we need to, because we've changed the shape, we need to cube project that again. So you cube projection, or when you finalize your shape, just double check that you've cube projected. And then, well, that's weird. Why has he done that? Okay, you'd think I'd know this. I built it. I forgot it. It's simple. I forgot. Right, so once you've got to this point and you've done all that, you've got all your subdivisions in place, there was another step, a very important step that I forgot, which is you need to apply all the transforms, because we've changed the shape and the direction of this plane here, or these faces here. We need to apply all transforms. So Control A, all transforms. Now when we select all of them and cube project, it will do what was expected. I feel very silly indeed. So there we go. So the important steps there. Once you've changed the shape, apply all the transforms before you cube project, then cube project, and it will look like a wall. Alright, okay, so that's the shape jobby done. So now we can look at the controls. So first of all, displacement control, displacement amount. I mean, you know, that's fairly self-explanatory. Makes them displace more. Displacement amount covered. Random extrusion control. This one is about how the variation of the height of, or the extrusion amount of individual bricks. So as it says here, drag white slider right to start varying the brick height, drag black slider right to start removing the bricks. So excuse me, because the white sliders here are quite close to this side, quite close to the black, there's quite a few bricks at close to full extrusion of the displacement amount we've given it, which is 1. So some of these are a lot of them are extruding close to to the 1 displacement amount. If we drag this back, we're allowing more darker shades in, so now we've got mostly bricks close to the wall. So as you can see now, so if I drag this real close to the black, most of the bricks, if not all of them, will be sticking out at about the same height. There'll be very little variation. As you can see, they're all kind of sticking out the same way. So that's how you can get that variation. And if you drag the black slider, you'll get the mortar. You'll start. How did I do that? You'll start losing bricks like this. So you've got a lot of control of how many bricks are on the wall. If you want it to be a derelict, broken wall, whatever, the more black you put into the color ramp, the more gaps you're going to get. Alright, random extrusion control covered. Global scale, very simple. One thing to note, the higher the global scale, the more subdivisions you're going to need, the more memory it's going to take. So yeah, that'll do it. What I'd recommend, if you wanted this wall to be a lot bigger, just scale it as it's, hang on, let me put my origin to geometry, there it is, and just double check I'm doing the right thing. So yeah, once you've made your shape, if you need the wall to be bigger, just scale it. You'll need eventually more subdivisions, but rather than making the wall as is, then applying the material and trying to get the scale and everything right, just get it right on a small plane first, and then scale the whole object. And if you need to, edit the scale, the global scale, or the subdivisions. Alright, okay, so global scale covered. Let's start over here. This might be like a 20-minute. Excuse me, this is just if you want it. I don't need to explain it. You've got brightness and contrast. Just once you've made your colours, you think I could do them a bit more contrasty. That's where you do it. These two here are for the bricks, the colours that you see on the bricks. And if I change, let's talk about brick colour 1, because every brick that there's in the brick, this is using the brick node, which is they're here. So you can see they've got colour 1 and colour 2, and then the wall will display, some of them will be exactly colour 1, some of them will be exactly colour 2. Most of them will be, excuse the plane, most of them will be variations between those two colours, as though it's mixing them. So if we, for now, it would be more clear if I take off the two colours. You've got an option for 2 colours just to have even more control, I suppose. So you can see here that some of them are exactly that colour, and some of them are exactly this colour. The majority are just variations or shades in between these two colours. And then if you do add another colour, I'm going to make this really garish so that it's very clear what I'm doing. And then I'm going to add another pip and just change that to another garish colour. And as I say, because it's mixing between these two colours, it's still affecting every brick, but some more than others. In fact, let me make that a bit brighter so we can see it better. Great timing, Willow. That's the cat. Not now, Willow. Not now. Alright, okay, so we can see the filter working here. It's using, I believe, a Musgrave. Again, this is because of the subdivisions, but I don't want it to take ages to update, so I'm perfectly fine with this blockiness. So yeah, you can see if we put this down brick 1 scale to 1, this filter with the blue and the pink, you see it's changed. It's got bigger. If I even make it smaller than that and go to 0.05, you know, it's using a Musgrave filter. And you've got all the usual, sorry, not Musgrave, this one's using a noise filter. The Brick 2 is using the dimension. So just experiment Brick 2's filters there underneath with how you want the brick wall to look. And I certainly don't want it to look blue. So I'm just gonna, because I can't look at that for the rest of this tutorial. And then I'll put another one in here and we'll do it a bit red. Not so red. And I might make that scale a little bit bigger. So by lowering the number, that'll do. Okay, so that's the brick colours. Dirt streaks is, if you mix it with this, it just adds these, you know, vertical dirt streaks that are intrinsically connected to the dirt streaks roughness, which we'll get to when we need to. But so that's the colour of it, and the colour, it's using a multiply filter, so it's only going to show the dark colours. It's treating white like transparent and treating the darker shades as visible, so that's why you're only seeing these streaks. If I took the white back, I'm allowing more of this, which will spread those dirt streaks further about the wall, as you can see, because I'm allowing more of this colour in. So, but for the dark streaks, I kind of want the contrast like that. And you can change this one. I wouldn't change the white one because, as I say, it's using multiply and it wants white to be transparent. So just change this colour. And the filter control for that here, again, so it's on 0.3. It's just, you know, this is how all filters work. You know how noise filter and dimension filters work. Detail, roughness, bush, you know. And you can change this if you want, but the purpose of this is for these dirt streaks, so I wouldn't bother, but by all means if you wish. So I'll turn that off so we can move on to the dust, and this is just, you know, just a bit of dust really. That one is also using a Musgrave texture. Dust color, this one opposite to multiply is using a screen, so it's only showing the white and treating black as transparent. If we bring this up, we lose a lot of white because we're saying we want more transparency, so now it's really bitty. So you can control that, and if you want the white more visible but no more transparency, just bring them together like that. See? Jabbly. Screen. Bush. Okay, moving on. Watercolour. For this one, it's very, I mean, it's not going to take much explanation, but we need to see the mortar. So we'll just bring up that in the random extruding control. And yeah, you can change the mortar colours here, add more pips if you wish. This one is using a noise filter, so your bog standard control with roughness distortion. Not quite sure why I didn't put detail in there. Maybe that'll be here when in the next update. Okay, the crack erosion colour, we want the opposite. No holes, loads of bricks. Just so we can really see the crack. You want to see the crack, but oh, I've gone too far, but I've gone too far. Come back. Let's not mess around, like, let's get it working. That'll do. So the crack erosion colour is linked to crack. I can't remember. It's been a while. Wait, displacement. Let me look at the yeah. It must be crack 0. There we go. So this one is connected to crack 0. So when you, as I have here, I've got the crack displacement effects mixed in. This filter will follow wherever the gaps appear. So if I really mix it in, you can see now it's only appearing where these cracks are, and it just gives it that kind of worn effect. This one, black must remain black, but its position can move, and then if you move it, stuff, I mean, you know, it's spreading it even more. If you wanted that to spread out from that crack a little bit more, you could use that, but as it says, I wouldn't change the black or the white. Okay, so the colour, sorry, change the white, but change the colour. Don't change its position. So if we wanted pink instead, there we go, we got pink erosion. So you can change that one, but the only one I would move is the black, and the only color I would change is the white. Okay, so, and that won't work, it won't have this effect with crack 1, but we'll get to that. Alright, what are we on? 16 minutes. I think I'll finish, well, this is going to be a two-part. We'll do this, and then the next part we'll figure out all that stuff. So this is the bricks. This is where the meat of it is. So you've got both the 2 brick nodes here. One's for color and one's for displacement. So if you change any of these values, they need to match on the other side. Otherwise, it will just look weird. Because if you see, if I put the frequency up to 4 on this side, it's doesn't look, yeah, like this is clearly 1 brick. The displacement and the color thinks it's 1 brick. But if we copy those values across, everything's in its right place. So now all the bricks are proper. So whatever changes you make to one node, change the other as well. Mortar size, brick width, that's obvious. You know, don't need to do too much about that. And the defaults are there just in case you change it and think, oh crap, what was the original? Mortar distortion shape. Good point. Yeah, so this is a little bit of extra roughing up of the mortar, because there's a specific filter for doing this stuff, and then you've got a bit of control of the roughness there as well, or the edges being a bit roughed up. Now, uneven brick edges mix. This might look a bit messy, but it's not. So this is just specifically these bricks here are being created by this specific filter. If I turn this off, they will disappear. And now it's just your bog standard bricks, and it's only the edges are only being messed up by the mortar distortion. So when you mix in the uneven brick edges mix, we get certain. I've mixed it in full. I would never do that, but just so we can really visibly see what's going on, I've mixed it all away. So that is doing that to these bricks. And the uneven brick edges shape, if again, this is all about experimentation, just moving the sliders and just seeing what happens. This is now eating even more of the bricks away, so it's almost like there's not much brick left there at all. It's completely dependent on what you want to do. But you've got this color ramp here to muck around with. The uneven brick edges filter is how this is. So if we put that up to 10, uneven detail scale, hang on, 30. It's not changing anything at all. 20. There we go. Okay. So you see, it's a much smaller filter now. But what I had it set at, I mean, you don't really need to change it if you don't want to. It's kind of, it does the job, and to edit how much of that is happening, just slide less of it in, or more, whichever you need. So you've got that control. And the reason it's not happening on all of the bricks, if I mix it straight back in again like that, the reason it's not happening on over all of the bricks, it's happening here, up here, a bit down here, is because it's got a mask. So as you can see, drag white slider right to reveal the uneven brick edges. So if I bring this slider back, the brick edges, or the black, sorry, we're going to have to do both. There we go, the brick edges have gone completely, and this is because this is kind of a mask. It's a noise filter mask, so it's only allowing cracks to show, I believe, in the white areas, and it's hiding them in the black areas. So as you can see, the more black I give it and the less white, the more bricks are going to be affected ultimately. Hang on, let's bring that right up, and let's bring that right up. So now you can see it's spreading almost all the bricks now, or yeah, it's every brick is jiggity jiggity. So that's the control you have with that. And if we really bring the contrast together, we'll have a very definite mangled brick, not mangled brick, mangled brick, not mangled brick. And then the scale of this, if I put this up to, the more I increase this, it's a noise filter, you'll see. So if I put that up to 5, we'll have more sporadic areas, as you see, where bricks are being mangled, and there's still the odd brick that's not being affected, and that's just because the scale of the mask has increased. And you can fiddle about with that if you want, wherever you want your bricks, and even brick edges mask. Finally, on 21 minutes, apologies, roughness control. So at the moment it's set to brick face roughness, which means it's a roughness that covers everything. So the brick face, it's on white, which is saying I don't want any roughness. But if I put black in, as you can see now, the bricks, I mean there's bump on it, so it's not. I might just actually turn the bump off, because we're going to look at the dirt streaks real quick. Where is the bump? There it is. So I'm just going to 0 that and 0 that, because I want that reflection. And there's a light source in here somewhere. There we go. Oh, yes. So there we go. So we can see the light is reflecting off these reflected bricks. And now this will be a good spot to show the dirt streaks. So if we mix in the dirt streaks like this, and then down here we then switch this over to dirt streak roughness. If you can see, hang on, you see, wait, let me just, there we go. Again, just mess around. So you can see it's very reflective on these streaks. It's those things that are getting, you see how, there we go, we can see the light perfectly reflected in this area. So all these streaks are now completely reflective because we're using a black. If we change it to a less black, I suppose it would become less reflective. Yeah, you see, now it's not reflective at all. So that one is controlling how much reflectivity you want the dirt streaks to have. Okay, and you can go halfway between if you want, so you get a bit of both worlds. All right, okay, that's part 1. We'll do a part 2, but we'll leave it there for part 1, and then we'll just finish off with this. It shouldn't take as long as that one. Okay, wicked. I hope that clears it up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.